Song Sung Blue.
Okay.
I thought the trailer for that film was farce. I said, this can't be real.
Yeah.
And then it got me.
I had a very similar reaction. I did not expect to care about it, and then I watched it and I immediately was like, "Can we have the director on the pod?" Like I very rarely am not strategic about that, but I dug it.
Wow, we're starting this taping, everyone, with a moment of agreement. Who knew?
Perhaps our last.
I'm so excited. I'm so happy to have you both here for what I hope is becoming an annual tradition. Award show chit chat with my favorite movie podcasters. Tell folks who you are.
You have to go first.
I'm Sean Fennessey.
And I'm Amanda Dobbins.
And that's how we intro every episode of the Big Picture Podcast.
It's wild watching y'all do it because I hear
It's
it
weird,
all the
right?
time.
It just happened.
And I'm like, I should be on the 10 right now.
Should we interview you?
No.
Okay.
No. So I wanted to have a follow-up conversation from our chat from last year. Last year, in the midst of Oscar campaign season, I tried to make the case that the awards industrial complex shouldn't even exist. Y'all obviously disagreed. And we came to some kind of consensus. They're here to stay. It's an industry. People rely on it. It provides jobs. It's not going away, but we suggested some fixes. And I'm trying to recall our fixes. You wanted to have a nominee removed from the building like every half hour.
Yes, for Best Picture.
For Best Picture.
A countdown of sorts
Yes.
where after it's been revealed that the 10th most voted for film is at number 10,
Then they got to go.
they got to go. And then all the
Ejector
way on
seat?
down through 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be like American Gladiators meets The Price is Right, but for prestige films.
Yeah, dignified,
Love it,
of
love
course.
it.
Yeah.
I forget your suggestion. Speeches.
Well,
You said, like, just have a speech ready.
you need to have a speech ready, but
Yeah.
also it can't be on your phone. That's my other note. Yeah, I think it's this is me showing my age. But as soon as you get your phone out there and you're reading off, it does look like you're reading your texts.
I also like it when they unfold a piece of paper because you can tell a lot about a person, about how they folded it and how they unfold it.
Oh,
It
interesting.
says a lot.
Yeah.
Anywho, so we agree there. I will not...
Well, have your feelings changed at all? Like, because the Oscars had not happened when we last spoke. We had this incredibly unusual year with Nora winning a movie like that, which movies like that never win.
Yeah.
But so did you feel like, well, that was a
Yeah.
good conversation and we made progress, or are we back where we started?
I don't understand the Oscars logic when they complain all the time about people not going to movies. Then they reward a movie with Best Picture that most normal people will never see. And then even when Honora and I think The Brutalists were in contention in that last few weeks before the Oscars, it was really hard for most of America to even find the movie to watch.
Yep.
I don't get it.
That is a huge problem.
This continues to be a problem.
Yeah, it is hard for people who want to see these movies to see
Yes.
movies. Like obviously, there's a huge problem with distribution and theaters, and it's a tough business in general. But yeah, that's a real problem. I think the people who want everyone to go to theaters exclusively and the people voting for Honora are often the same people, but they're expressing two separate desires there. And that is the thing, is that the Academy is very big, and it's gotten a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Mostly for the better, I would say.
Yeah.
But movies are also big. They used to be bigger, but that is the contradiction in the Oscars, that it is an art form that is also popular entertainment, right? So they always have a hard time getting their arms around everything.
Yeah. Well, and then it's like I'm already preparing myself to be angry at the Oscars again because everything that's happened thus far in this award season says that Sinners and Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan and the entire team won't get enough love. And I felt that way post Golden Globes this past Sunday.
Well, specifically the Golden Globes.
I mean, I saw Hamnet last night to be ready to have this conversation and yell about it.
Yeah,
What's that movie? What is that movie?
Listen, we aren't the wildest about
I too
Hamnet.
can hold the camera up in the sky and see the tree leaves move.
That was when I almost walked out. That damn tree,
She kept
and
showing
then
the tree.
it goes down at the bottom, and then there's like the hollow. And
What was in the hollow? I never knew.
Listen,
I'm a little bit more positive about that movie than Amanda is. There are
Okay.
things about it that I really like.
I like the last
Jesse
30
Buckley,
minutes.
great.
I do
The
think,
hand at the end. Sorry.
Listen.
Spoiler.
I think it's very powerful, but I also think it is flawed and a kind of a slog through the first half of it.
Yes.
But the point that you're making is really interesting because Hamnet at the beginning of this season, I thought was going to look more like a classic Oscar contender in that it would be a prestigious film from Focus Features, but that had a big audience. It's got two young, exciting stars. It's from a filmmaker who's already won a Best Picture. It's going to get a big festival rollout, and then there's going to be a huge promotion. And the movie has really not done very well at the box office. In fact, it's kind of in the same zone financially that Anora was in at this time last year. And that's been a surprise to me. And so when you make that film, which is one of the top 3 contenders, and you add 5 or 6 more films that have very small box office into that pool of 10, then you've got more movies that people haven't seen than have seen.
Which is like, why do you keep doing this?
Well, it's because, in part, I think what Amanda was describing about changing the voter registration in the Oscars, you know, going from 5,000 people to 10,000 people over a decade-long period means more international voters, a much more diverse body, but also a lot of people who are interested in different kinds of films. You know, they're not just interested in, I don't know, what's the equivalent of, you know, The English Patient, you know, a kind of grand epic drama that can kind of will its way to $70 million at the box office. Those movies don't exist as much anymore. And so you remove them, and then every year we get to this point, it's like, okay, so Sinners was a big hit. And everybody loved it. Critics loved it. Audiences loved it. It was like the very rare 4-quadrant Venn diagram experience.
Made its money back really quickly.
Yes. But that movie feels more like, I don't mean this in the traditional sense, but the minority. You know, it is literally the minority in this race, but it is also the minority in terms of what we think Oscar Best Picture contenders are. And Oppenheimer did win Best Picture, but that movies like that winning are actually more rare now. The winners are now more frequently like Anora.
Yeah. And it's like this leads me to like my big question of this hour. It's like, what is the health of the awards beast? Are awards in a healthy place? There's 2 big pieces of news that I'm grappling with this year. One is the Oscars announcing their move to YouTube very soon. That's making me scratch my head. And 2, watching the Golden Globes become a full Penske operation intertwined with the very trade rags that cover this industry. And, you know, underwritten, it seemed, by like Polymarket this go around. I was watching live betting during the Golden Globes. That makes me feel icky about the state of like Capital A awards.
Maybe we should talk about the Globes first.
No,
Let's do it.
But I think an interesting thing to note about both of your pieces of news is that those are about awards season and awards, but neither about movies or even the movie industry, right? And that, you know, you could say that the Oscars moving from ABC to YouTube is about how, you know, streaming services have supplanted theater going or whatever, but that's really a TV decision, right? Like that is, it used to be on linear television and now it's going to be on YouTube, which, you know, that's where I watch things.
Yeah, we don't make you go watch the Oscars in the theater.
And
still be on TV.
The Penske trade organization of it all is certainly intertwined with the movie industry, especially as far as, you know, the FYC, the 4-year consideration season. But that's a media story, right?
Yeah. And also, the Golden Globes have always been a hot mess and corrupt.
Yes, exactly.
It's not a surprise with that.
Right. They are now owned by the Penske company because of investigations into the previous organization's conduct.
Yes.
Racism, sexual harassment, just, you know, and then obviously the pay-to-play scandal.
And what's crazy is apparently they still have the Hollywood Foreign Press vote for the winners, but Penske doesn't let them go to the awards.
I think the composition of that voting group is different. There's a lot more secrecy around that voting group now. I think they've kind of shifted from 2 different forms of racketeering. Like the first version was sort of more blatant, and we took it less seriously, and we just accepted that they were like, this is cronyism. This is a kind of a cabal of weirdos. There was a lot of comfort in the media.
And every once in a while they nominated you know, Angelina Jolie for The Tourist or whatever, just to have her there.
Yeah,
you know,
Taylor
like,
Johnson winning for Nocturnal Animals. Things that were just like, what is this? Like, no one else is doing this.
Knew, and it's like, oh, but they get drunk here. It's fine.
Yes, exactly. Now, it does seem slightly more nefarious.
I will say what made me feel really bad about it, and I want you to finish your point because these news items aren't about the actual film, but I will say the biggest award story I'm watching has been the way that the trades, and let's say Variety, Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, watching the way they have covered different films that have been FYCing. The love they've thrown at Marty Supreme compared to the lack of mention of Sinners. So Rolling Stone, also Penske, they put out their list of the 25 best films of the year, didn't even put Sinners on it. It feels weird to me. And then I see headlines from, I think it was Variety or Deadline, after the box office for Marty Supreme, they named Timothée Chalamet the King of Christmas at the box office. Really? That movie's doing fine.
Yeah.
King of Christmas?
Yeah.
Well, it feels weird to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think what you're isolating is comparing that box office coverage with the box
Sinners
office coverage around Sinners, which was intense and, you know, pretty racist in terms of
Yeah.
what it needed to the standards that Sinners was being held to and how
Yeah.
it makes its money back. And then once it started making a lot of money, you started reading, but, you know, Warner Brothers won't be getting all of that because Ryan Coogler negotiated an incredible deal based on the text of the film itself.
Which he wrote.
Yes. The movie is about the ownership of black art and who gets to own it and who gets to profit from it.
Yeah.
And the vampires are the executives. Like, it's not hard. So that was really ugly and silly, and certainly the Penske organizations, of which there are many, were like a major part of that. And then you fast forward to the Golden Globes, where they've included a new award, or a relatively new award, Cinematic and Box Office Achievement Award. Though I noticed that they just like stopped saying cinematic at some point during the night. And
That should tell you something about what they think of it.
Exactly.
Yep.
I think they just tacked that on so they could nominate K-pop Demon Hunters in that category. But Sinners won that award and then did not win the more prestigious Best Drama Award. And that stinks. I think that Sean and I both believe that the Box Office Achievement Award itself is
icky.
insulting.
Yeah.
And it just kind of, and is putting aside a type of filmmaking that can also achieve excellence. Like, it is hard to make something good that a lot of people want to see.
Yes.
And that is its own merit and should be rewarded in the major categories. But it's also doubly insulting that Sinners won that award. And it really did feel, as we were watching it, like, oh, okay.
A consolation prize. We gave you something.
Yeah, like here you go. You get this one.
Yeah.
And then nothing else.
Yeah.
I'd love to drill down with you guys, though, about how we think this happens.
Yeah.
Because Amanda and I both worked in magazines for years. We have a ton of editorial experience. We've been in rooms like the rooms that make your best movies of the year lists when you work in a magazine that don't necessarily have bylines attached to every blurb, but you see that there's some kind of consensus building with editors and writers. And I've never been a trade reporter, but similarly, a lot of these people, they function in kind of small teams and they have missions in terms of how they cover. Now, sometimes in a newsroom, in an editorial structure, you do have directives from leadership where you say you should do this or not do this, or this is how we're managing our coverage of this space. But it's pretty ephemeral. And the idea of like a coordinated strategy from the entire Penske media empire against Sinners, I find hard to believe. But however, are the biases that exist in the newsroom being examined on a daily basis so that there is equality in the way that these things are covered? It's impossible to know, but it's worth exploring.
Yeah. I think I can't have this conversation without connecting some dots to the way the Penske organization handled the FYC campaign for the new podcast category at the Golden Globes.
Sure.
Once you read all the coverage of that, it seemed as if part of why they made the category was to have a new way to get ad dollars for their trade publications.
I think there's no question about it.
And if that happens at that company, then I question the editorial sanctity of the editorial side too.
Well, that's a tricky one. I mean, I think every single organization in the media right now is desperate to figure out new revenue streams.
For sure.
And there's a lot of angst, tons of job loss over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And we have personally witnessed very difficult, basically essentially the careers that we thought we were getting ourselves into.
Yeah.
Effectively no longer exist. Yeah. We are podcasters.
Yeah.
And that was neither of our strategies getting into this world. So I think that that desperation is manifesting in some ways. I think there's obviously also a lot of greed that runs through a lot of these businesses.
Yeah. I do also think that just like the editorial integrity implies a level of competence and organization that you know, whether it is just because it is like
it's diffuse.
It's diffuse, but also because the media is a mess, as we have just discussed, and people are losing jobs. So the bias is there, and bias is a gentle word for it, and operational, and I do think you're right to point out that when money is on the line, people are very organized, you know, and they figured out how to funnel it in certain places.
Exactly.
I personally don't think enough of the coverage to think that there's like intense coordination.
And I also, no shade to
and there are
the underpaid writers at these
organizations. And there are a lot of individual journalists and critics who are great.
Right. I think that's also what I'm trying to say is that the people are people, and individual people will make choices and do their best. Structurally, these things are out of their control oftentimes. The Golden Globes and the Oscars are not the same, and to conflate them, I think, is a mistake. The Golden Globes, part of my struggle with it over the last few years since this change in ownership and change in strategy is just its essential dullness. This was an interesting stop on the award season tour where something weird and funny could happen. That's great for podcasters who get to make fun of the show. You know, now the making fun of the show is oriented around the ickiness of global betting markets and the introduction of UFC fighters into the domain of award season. There's just a lot of odd desperation happening there, but the results of the show
are predictive.
And I think they're going to seem very similar to where we land for the Oscars. And I just find that a little bit boring. Now, you might say, well, it's not their job to entertain you, but in fact, it is. It actually is their job to entertain us through this season.
Well, and what's so interesting, so one, we have the ratings in. The ratings are down like 7%, which is going to happen. That's just TV. But when I think of like the moments that stuck with me the most from the actual Golden Globes broadcast, it was an off-main camera moment where Leo DiCaprio, who seemed a bit coked out, was mouthing K-pop Demon Hunters language. And then the other moment was when Julia Roberts got to the stage for a standing ovation just for her being Julia Roberts. And it speaks to the desire of this industry to hold on to a kind of megawatt movie stardom that is not minted newly anymore. And so I guess that to close the loop on that first larger question, you know, forget how the awards are doing. How are the movies doing? When I see a Julia Roberts moment, it makes me say, oh, we're not going to have that again.
That's not new. There has always been a desire to kind of celebrate the icons of our youth at award shows, and there are tons of, you know, John Wayne winning for True Grit and getting a standing ovation despite the fact that he is an absolute dinosaur politically, socially at the time of that victory. That sort of acknowledgement of his relevance and necessity in the industry for 30 years is something that Hollywood has always been kind of obsessed with, is sort of historicizing itself. But I think because movie going is going down. And it does feel a little bit more strained and a little bit more transparent when someone like Julia Roberts, who was in a movie that no one saw or cared about, gets on stage.
I saw it and I have questions.
But we don't have answers.
We don't.
But you're right to note it. You're right to note Leo in the crowd too. This was an unusually star-packed Golden Globes.
Even had Zaslav out there. So many shots of Zaslav.
So, I mean, he really placed himself in the center, you know? Yes, the last couple years, I do think that we personally, and Sean and I like movie stars. I do think we have younger listeners who are sometimes like, "What's your damage? Like, why? You know, why do you need these people so much?" But we love them, and we have bemoaned the lack of star power the last few years at the Oscars, and I think it's a combination of the older stars. The 90s vintage movie stars have not been in the awards mix, and then it's just much harder to make a young movie star. And if you are a young movie star now, you're a movie star for a character rather than for your own performance.
Or you're just like a Netflix star who just lives on Netflix, and you make these shows or movies that will never be honored by these bodies.
Exactly. So
Noah Centineo is arguably a movie star for a certain generation. But he's never going to be in the awards mix.
No.
He may try at some point. You know, he wouldn't be the first. I mean, Ryan Gosling was on the Mickey Mouse Club, and now he is an Academy Award nominated actor. So it's not impossible to make those transitions.
But now
the pathway is different.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
and
you're
you
more
can just
likely,
stay in Netflix land forever.
or you like host a podcast or be a wellness influencer. There's like a lot of other pathways rather than just trying to be Tom Cruise.
Right.
Yes.
Also, Ryan Gosling has forsaken the Oscar films and is now just making Star Wars and big budget.
Well,
you know,
I saw
he's
some
gone straight into
poster for
franchise.
some new film of his when
Project
I was
Hail Mary. I'm very excited.
What is that?
It is an adaptation of a novel by Andy Weir, who also wrote The Martian. So it is politely The Martian starring Ryan Gosling. I think that there are some some twists.
Okay.
I'm very excited for it.
it's fun
but
movies.
you know, but that is, and The Martian was nominated for Best Picture.
Sure was.
Yeah. So, and I guess was Matt Damon nominated for Best Actor?
I believe so.
He loved those potatoes, you know? So that's not Oscar-y, but yes, the chasm between stardom and popularity and then the awards is growing.
Yeah.
I do think that there are new stars.
But I think they're not coming through movies. I think that like one of the biggest women stars of her age group is Hailey Bieber. And she's famous for everything but talking.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that is a level of fame and a kind
Well,
of fame that is
she's-
internet forward that didn't exist 15 years ago.
Right.
But
I think
she does talk.
there could only be like
she's famous for having very, very glowy skin.
Yeah.
And then she has turned that into a billion-dollar enterprise. Yeah. So
is that business worth $1 billion?
I believe it was sold for $1 billion, but you know, who gets what? Yeah, I wasn't on the balance sheets, unfortunately.
I mean, you mentioned Marty Supreme. I do think that the success of that 2.5 hour period piece, it's relative success. I agree with you, but it is still not a failure.
Not a failure.
To me, that was the last step in the chain of, is this person legitimately a generational star? And he is. I mean, he is the most well-known 30-year-old actor
him and Zendaya.
in the world. Him and Zendaya.
Although it seems like Zendaya is not... She seems less concerned with getting some big award than he does.
Well, he is a poster. He is an internet kid. Like he is a generational star, and I think he's
and also a walking meme
and knows it and plays into it and is dating one of Hailey Bieber's best friends.
Yep.
At least as I understand it via Instagram. I'm again not privy to the group chat, and ran a lot of the same playbook. You know, like Hailey Bieber did wear a Marty Supreme jacket, so even though he is a star to us in the traditional movie star mold, he is doing a lot of the new stuff. And, you know, I think Zendaya is just living a nice life.
Really, she is.
Yeah.
She's got to figure it out. So then, you know, I guess then to close the loop, it's like, if my question is, how are the awards doing? And then how are the movies doing?
Yeah.
I think it's always the same. How are the movies doing? And that trend line is just not going to change. Nothing's going to reverse the downward trend of actual movie attendance.
Do you want to? I mean, that's true. That's true.
Actual movie attendance has been going down dramatically for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
It used to be the absolute center of American popular culture. It's never going to be again. It's not reasonable to expect it. I think people are watching things more than they ever have. They have more ability and opportunity to do so.
TV's always
on their phones, in the back of a taxi, wherever you go. I was just watching TV as I walked through your office here. There was the television was on. The television is always on somewhere in someone's pocket or elsewhere. So that part of it is not changing. I do think that in major metropolises where accessibility is available, there is a very vibrant cinephilic culture happening right now.
Yes.
But it's
small,
niche.
but it's niche.
It's just niche.
Yeah.
It's just not the same that it used to be.
So then, I guess then my follow-up is like, do I just need to make peace with a Hollywood structure that itself becomes more niche? I remember the Oscars of my youth feeling monoculture. They may not feel that way again as the Honoras keep winning and attendance keeps going down.
But didn't Sinners feel monocultural to you?
It did, but it's not going to get all of the Oscars it should.
But it's going to be nominated for like 8 Oscars, maybe 10. I mean, that's a big deal. You know, like if you cut back to, let's use Do the Right Thing as a comp. Famously not nominated for Best Picture, and the year that Driving Miss Daisy wins. The most perfect metaphor for the racism inherent in Hollywood over its 100-year history.
Yeah.
The only acting nomination from that movie was Danny Aiello. That's not going to be the case.
Yeah.
this year. Michael B. Jordan's almost certainly going to be nominated. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's the right amount of progress, but it's a kind of progress.
Yes.
And a film like that is being recognized. Is it being recognized at the highest order? Not quite, but like...
I mean, I think Ryan Coogler is going to win original screenplay.
Which is good.
Which is good. And, you know, on the one hand, that is a little bit of the, you know, we'll give you like the lesser award instead of the big one. On the other hand, all of my favorite filmmakers have won Best Original Screenplay
original screenplay.
Yes, Sofia Coppola, Quentin Tarantino. Like that is, to me, that's always the award of the true filmmaker. So, you know, in some ways, it's the same as it was in the 90s.
Yeah, I'm not. The question of whether the awards are healthy is I don't know how to answer that. It's an interesting thing to discuss because the ratings have been kind of steady for the last few years. They hit a real speed bump during COVID, but so did everything in the world. And they've been solid. I feel like we got a nice bounce back from Conan O'Brien as a first-time host last year. He's coming back this year. The movies that are nominated this year are more popular than the movies that were nominated last year.
That is true.
Right.
And
you know, 2 years ago we had Barbenheimer and Oppenheimer won. Barbie was also in the mix. You had I'm Just Ken performed live in the pink suit.
Wicked was big last year.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to see Golden performed at the award show this year. You know, there's going to be things that are going to be accessible.
I'm about to hit my limit on Golden. I'm not there yet.
Wow,
okay.
You don't have a 4-year-old girl in your house like I do. I mean, it is a lifestyle.
Really? What I love about Golden is that even the women that sing that song can't sing that song. It's so high. It's so high.
Are you up on the Bongo Cat covers? Do you know about Bongo Cat?
Who's Bongo Cat?
Bongo Cat is the kittens that meow along to the songs, so they replace all the lyrics with meows. But they just perform the song.
Meow, meow, meow,
yes,
meow,
this is an obsession in my home.
Okay.
Wow. How do you live?
It feels evil, honestly, but...
Do you listen or do you also watch the cats?
Just listen. I don't believe there's even attendant video. I think it's just
the meows.
Meow, meow, meow,
Didn't Billie Eilish do a meow
meow
thing at a concert after all the kids were meowing her music? I think the kids like the meows.
I mean, that sounds right. Billie's tapped in. She's co-directing her own concert video with James Cameron. Or she did. It comes out this year.
Yeah. Feature film.
Directed by Billie Eilish and James Cameron.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
And that's also where movies are going.
That's where movies are going. That's where movies are going. So, all right, we've talked about these bigger structural issues, but I kind of want to talk to y'all just for a bit because you watch all the movies about your favorite movies of the year. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my controversial pick. Not too controversial given our previous chat, but one of my favorite films of this year was Song Sung Blue. It surprised me. It's melodramatic, it's cheesy, it's corny. The whole movie is in the trailer. And yet, it worked on me so much that I made friends of mine watch it and cry with me too.
Yeah.
That is my surprise pick for one of my faves of this year. Give me a surprise favorite of 2025.
Ooh, a surprise. Gosh, that might have been mine.
Okay.
We were talking. I mean,
we're really in synergy this time. Wow.
I know mine, which is just that it's a film that Sean saw at Virtual Sundance in January. And then talked at me about for 11 months until it was available to watch on Netflix. It's Train Dreams, and Sean described it as a beautiful movie about logging.
Not posting.
And I was just logging trees.
Yes.
I think the Pacific Northwest was invoked. You know, it had that Sundance sort of people like quietly finding themselves, and I thought no. And it was one of my favorite movies of the year. I put it on my list. It is beautiful to look at. In addition to, I thought, being a very thoughtful and moving portrait of. Now I sound like a terrible awards blur, but it was about grief and
so it seems like this is the movie Chloe Zhao thought she was making.
I thought about Train Dreams so much when I watched Hamnet, and and we talked about this a little bit. I said, why am I responding to Train Dreams so much more than Hamnet? I should say, for the record, I've seen Hamnet twice, and I ugly cried both times. Yeah. So it's not that I didn't respond to it, and it had the intended effect on me, and I do think the performances are great. The second time I went in and I said, well, I've cried before, so you can't get me now, and it got me again, but I thought that there was something more less obvious about Train Dreams. The director Clint Bentley has talked about how the character, this is a film adapted from a Dennis Johnson novella, was interesting to him because he was pre-Freudian. And we were also having a conversation about my relationship to self-examination on
You've done it. It's done. You
which
got it.
we
It's
don't
fixed.
have to do it on this podcast. But this idea that this was a person who doesn't totally know how he feels in the world and how he's supposed to feel as he deals with all of these things, and you watch him discover it in real time instead of like having a therapy playbook right there.
Yeah.
And I think that really appealed to me, and that was
Nice.
maybe a contrast from Hamnet. But yeah, I
Okay.
really didn't expect to like the Tree movie so much.
I gotta watch it. It felt like for a second I thought it was gonna get a bunch of awards love, and then it just didn't.
Yeah, it'll be nominated for. Oh, I hope
I
it'll
think
get
it will make
in
it in
Best
at Best
Picture.
Picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
It feels like it's right at the
Okay.
Yeah.
at 10 or 9 for Best Picture.
I gotta watch it.
Yeah, another thing that was revelatory to me about that experience was that I had not read the Dennis Johnson novella before I saw it, and I do still like reading fiction.
Yeah.
I'm one of the only people left in America. But it was refreshing to go in and not have the burden of expectation
Yeah.
and adaptation on it. I was like, oh,
Okay.
I see what you've done here. So, and you had a different experience where I guess you hadn't read it, and then you read the novel afterwards.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Dennis Johnson's writing, but I had not read that book because that was always like the slim book that you know it was not Tree of Smoke or Jesus' Son, and I watched the film. Knocked out by the movie. I watched it at midnight in January on virtual Sundance by myself, and the movie ended. And I looked around and it's like, is there anyone here to speak with me about this? Very moved. We both have young kids. It's a very intense movie about a young kid having a young kid. And then I read the book, and the book is, I would say, a bit less generous to the lead character. And that did change my perspective on the movie a little bit. It didn't
In a
make me
good way
like
or a
it
bad
less
way?
per se, but it's one of those things, obviously you should just never read the book before you see a movie because it will always color, it will influence how you feel about it. I can usually read something afterwards and feel comfortable with it. In this case, I thought that it made me question some of the filmmakers' choices in ways that I think are interesting. So I would recommend, it's a very easy book to read.
Okay.
Now I feel like I'm on the don't read a book side of this, and I just want to reiterate, I love fiction. Keep publishing
You're on
novels,
the record
everyone.
about that.
Yeah,
There's
just
hours and hours
I'm
of you
pro
saying.
books,
Pro
but just
book,
but it was an interesting experience.
Well, I've thought
What's
of
your
a surprise,
pick?
but I want to ground it in my top 5 being what I and others have identified as chalk.
What are your,
This is like a year where 5 of my favorite filmmakers made movies, and those are basically my 5 favorite
what are
movies
they?
of the year. One Battle After Another, No Other Choice, Eddington, Marty Supreme, and Sinners.
Eddington?
100%.
Yeah, we
And
like it on this side of the
Refused to,
room.
the trailer was enough for me to be like, nope.
I will defend it to the death.
Okay. I
I
gotta
think
watch
it's really good.
Okay.
It's really
Okay.
it's messed up, and many
and it's
people
disturbing, no?
hated it. Well, yes, it is disturbing. I found
think it's
it.
very
It is
accurate.
It's
Okay.
accurate.
Okay.
And I found it funny in the way that
I
I
did too.
find really dark, messed up things to be funny. And I think it is trying to. There's a dark humor to
Yeah.
it. I've thought about The Last Shot a lot. It's not
Really?
uplifting.
Okay. And it's long, too, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, yes,
Okay.
they all are.
I make this point because
Yes.
our show started in 2017. Around that time, a lot of the filmmakers that I really like were sort of coming of age. Some of the first guests on the show were Ari Aster, who made
Yeah.
Eddington,
Yeah.
the Safdie brothers.
Yeah.
Josh made Marty Supreme. I have a real affinity for that class of filmmaker. That was around the same time as Barry Jenkins, Jordan Peele, like a
Yeah.
lot of new
Greta
voices
Gerwig.
emerging. Greta Gerwig.
Yeah.
Paul Thomas Anderson made The Master around that time. I love One Battle. It was one of those years. Park Chan-wook made The Handmaiden in 2016.
Oh, yeah.
He has No Other Choice this year. That period in movie history is very closely associated for me because it's when I sort of threw myself into this world
Yeah.
more or less full time.
Yeah.
But I saw a movie at Telluride this year that had opened in Cannes, and I read about it, and it seemed interesting, but it wasn't high on my radar. And it was the last movie that I saw at Telluride. It's called Pillion. It's not out yet here.
Although I keep seeing what's his face is doing press for it.
Alexander Skarsgård has
Yes.
been promoting it. It is a BDSM rom-com
You know.
by a British filmmaker named Harry Lighton about a sort of wayward 20-something guy living at home with his parents who is lonely. And he is out at a bar on Christmas Eve after just having performed an a cappella routine with his family.
Oh.
And in walks a group of very masculine bikers.
Okay.
And one of those bikers, a leather group, one of those bikers is Alexander Skarsgård.
Sign me up.
And Harry Melling, the
Amen.
actor who plays him, just falls head over heels for this guy.
I would too.
And Alexander Skarsgård is very powerful in this movie. He is shot
He's
with...
very
So it's
powerful
gay.
in all.
It's very gay.
Yeah.
It is the gayest
You
movie
buried
of the
the
year.
lead, buddy.
Yes. But it is, you know, it's taking what we consider in our culture to be these sort of like taboo or severe subcultures and makes them warm and strange and fun and curious, and you never really know where the movie is going.
Okay.
The two leads are brilliant together.
Yeah.
Skarsgård, like kind of one of our great underrated
really is.
stars, like
He
always
doesn't
good
do
in
bad
everything he does.
stuff.
He's never exactly.
he's
He's never
so
bad.
interesting.
He's very, very good in this film. It's going wide on February 13th for Valentine's Day.
I know where I'll be.
Yeah. So that, and you know, I think it played maybe on 5 screens at the end of last year.
Did it need more awards love?
It's the kind of thing I would like to see get more recognition. You know, it's a tricky thing about, like, so A24 only has so much room to promote a movie.
And this year it all went to Marty.
It all went to
did.
Marty.
Oh my God.
You know?
They spent so much. If I don't need to see Orange ever again.
Yeah.
I get it. When I saw
miss it,
Patty
though.
LuPone wearing the Marty Supreme jacket, I said, okay, pack it up.
I mean,
good.
I really wanted one, but it's
not too late.
No, well, it's not the kind of thing you can ask for, and I do think it is too late because Timothée Chalamet has kind of turned
He's
away
anti-orange
from.
now. He's earnest again.
Yeah,
Yes.
he did it. He did his campaign. He got everyone to go see the movie.
Yeah.
It is by its own, in its realm, a success.
Yeah.
And now he's really walking back the
He's just
ego
happy
tour.
to be there and so grateful.
Yeah,
and
in
oh my
order, I guess,
God.
to try to win an Oscar. I miss the orange. I miss the posting. I loved the whole experience, and I loved that movie. It was my second favorite movie of the year.
I have, and this is probably where we disagree the most
Yeah.
about just this season of film.
Yeah.
I found Marty Supreme, insufferable. And I get it. They wanted it to be that for me. But I kept saying to myself, like, why do I feel so viscerally angry at this movie? And it feels like this is one of those movies where the director and the creator, they're determined to make a film that makes its audience suffer. And I was just like, I'm down to suffer if I get a big payoff. And I think that when I say that, I mean, I always love a horror movie because you know you're going to suffer. They're going to scare you the whole time. But there's always a payoff. The hero confronts the monster or beats the monster. There is some kind of cathartic release
Right.
where all the pressure built up with the jump scares is released.
Right.
And Marty Supreme felt like it kept assaulting my senses, and there's never any payoff. This movie ends, and what do I get? A smirking infant.
Well,
What do I get?
Yeah. I mean, we're so hardcore for this
I
movie, but I
know.
mean, the experience, I didn't feel like I was suffering while watching
Girl, when the
movie.
bathtub falls.
I thought that was funny. I shrieked.
thought that was funny?
Listen, and this is, you know what? You know, when I've really been digging deep on this, because Sean and I have been having this conversation with a lot of people in our lives,
Yes.
and we've seen, you know, the discourse online. We try not to dip in. But we were talking with a good friend just yesterday about it who feels similarly.
Yeah.
When I dig a little deeper, one common thread is that people are very angry about the treatment of the dog in this movie. And so I do understand that the bathtub falling on the dog was a real breaking point for a lot of people. I don't think that dogs or any living creatures should suffer harm, but like that's not what I took away from that scene. So I laughed. I thought that I mean, I guess he's insufferable. I was very charmed by him. I'm on the record as saying, were I 25, this character would have ruined my life.
Wow.
And it did make me feel young again. So I even experienced it as, I mean, he's making terrible decisions.
Yeah.
Of course, he's not very good to any of the people in his life, though most of them are also hustling him as well.
Yeah.
I watch it as a coming of age movie. And he grows up at the end. We are also the parents of young children, so I thought every decision in that last scene, including the smirking baby, was both moving and funny. You know, all of the other babies in that nursery keep crying throughout the whole scene, which I was both really triggered by and also, you know, respect to them because there is complexity in that moment. But I just watched it very differently. That's all, and that's what art is, right?
Yeah,
That's
totally.
It's not to invalidate your experience. I saw someone else compare. I think it was Jamal Bowie who compared the movie to the Wolf of Wall Street, which is just like this is a critique of an insufferable person. I didn't watch that way at all. But you know, I think people really do watch things in different ways.
There's two really interesting things about this to me, and this came up when we were talking with our friend yesterday about the movie. I turned to Amanda after our friend shared somewhat similar feelings that you did, and I was like, what is usually your instinct when someone tells you that a movie that they know you love, they hated?
Yeah.
Is the intention then to hold your ground and defend the movie, to try to explain and explore why the other person is wrong, so to speak, or how something moved you, like, or do you just say like, good for you,
Tomatoes,
dude,
tomatoes.
you know, like, let's keep it moving, we can talk about something we both like. And this one's really interesting to me for two reasons. One, I was an idiot in New York in my 20s, and like I very much think that that's what this movie is about. Is about like, and I didn't play ping pong, but I had played a kind of ping pong of the mind, and
it's got the lankiness. You know?
Yeah. And I would not say I acted the same way that Marty acted, and I hopefully didn't hurt people in the way that he does. But I found the movie to be sort of not just a series of incidents, but a series of correlated incidents where everything that happens to Marty isn't happening to him. He's causing the problems because of poor decision making.
Yes.
And if you see the movie in the way that I do, and I do know Josh Safdie a little bit, but it's a very self-deprecating, self-reflexive portrait of a really ambitious person who really had blinders on to the way that he was impacting the rest of the world. So if you're empathetic to the artist's intention, and you don't have to be, but if you are, you can say this is a movie about a guy who thought he knew what he was doing and understood his purpose, and he didn't. Yeah. And then something else happened at the end of the movie that happened to him in real life, and he made a work of art about it. I'm very sympathetic to that.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I think if you're going to have that really strong point of view about what Sinners is about, the kind of meta text of that story, I think it's really important to understand the meta text of Marty Supreme, which is like a post-war, post-Holocaust Jewish identity journey. It's a movie about a second generation post-survivors looking at what their place in the world is and how they can get back their space that they feel that they deserve. And the only way to do that is to announce yourself, to demand attention, to confirm to the world that you are the greatest. And that if you don't do that, you're ceding ground and you are under threat over time. That's a really interesting idea to me. And does that make a person unlikable? Sure. Ambitious, loud people who make bad decisions are unlikable.
But why is he doing it?
But they're not unworthy of humanity.
Well, and
you know
there's
what I
a
mean?
historical context that he's functioning in. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I will reassess this movie. I think for me,
you don't have to.
But I want to.
You're also allowed to not like it.
Yeah.
I'm also like it, but I want to look at it again under that lens. And I think what I am asking of myself as a moviegoer, it's like what do I need from a movie to feel good about it at the end? And I find that when I think about what I love about Song Sung Blue, there are moments of just like pure film fulfillment. Here is this scene to make you feel something. Kate Hudson wants you to cry right now. This song is going to make you move right now. And we've built up this pressure to give you release.
Yeah.
Safdie is pressure. And the point is no release, or a release that is not cathartic in a way that feels fulfilling. Like, I didn't feel fulfilled by the end of Marty Supreme. I felt like it had like taken me to the edge for 2 hours.
Are we doing spoilers here?
Yes.
I mean, I guess I did spoil the last shot. This is major textual spoilers for Marty Supreme. I apologize. I like this film. Go see it if you haven't. What did you make of the final ping pong scene, the match against Endo in Japan, and then the rematch with the vampire bit in the middle?
Yeah. I think that I was always just flummoxed by how, like, even though he F's everything up, he still kind of gets away with it. And like, he's ruined that whole situation, ruined it. His sponsors and benefactors are there watching him do the exact opposite of what they paid him to do. And you're like, oh, he's screwed and now he's stuck in Japan. The soldiers take him home.
Yeah.
He always just like skedaddles out of it.
Okay.
And by the end, I was like, okay, enough. Put this guy in prison.
Yeah.
It's time to go to jail.
And so
like, after he set the dudes on fire at the gas station, I'm like, lock him up.
I think there's another way to read it, which is that they attempted to make him a tool of the capitalist system, and he said, I'm doing it my own way. You can't break me.
And they literally have Mr. Wonderful say, I'm a vampire. I was born in 1601.
Yes.
And you'll never win. And then
that seemed like a pretty astute critique.
He wins a rematch of a fake match.
Yeah.
because he's never gonna be the world champion.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
his dream like is sort of realized, but also it's over. Like
And also
you watch
meaningless.
him win
Yes.
and completely lose, and he Mr. Wonderful is right. Like he's lost.
Yes.
He can
So-
do what he always knew he could do, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What matters is whatever's at home.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, I see. All right, I'm watching this film again. I will say,
Yeah.
all the coverage of Timothy Chalamet used his own butt for that spanking scene. He shouldn't have. What a sad butt. I just watched Heated Rivalry. I need butts. That was the.
Pillion is the film for you. Trust me.
I want to talk about the moment that this is going back to the Golden Globes and going
Yeah.
back to films that I missed and going back to ones that deserve more attention. There was a moment when Julia Roberts told everyone to go watch Sorry Baby. I had not thought about that film until she said to watch it. I finished the Globes and I watched it.
There
and
you
she
go.
was right.
Absolutely.
It was very, very good.
Yeah.
This movie, I won't say anything more about it because it will spoil it. Just watch the movie. It's slow, but it's good. But is someone like Ava Victor, right? That's her name. Is the industry going to keep supporting people like her and allowing her to flourish? Because I'm not sure if that movie is going to make the money it needs. I'm not sure if enough folks will watch it.
It was a Sundance
exists.
acquisition. It was independently financed. It got raves out of Sundance.
Yeah.
I had Ava on The Big Picture and talked with them about the intention, the idea that, their background is not as a filmmaker.
Yeah, they were making TikToks.
TikToks. And I find that really exciting. I have had a couple of filmmakers on the show over the years who come from YouTube, who come from essentially social media creativity.
Yeah.
To be able to make, I don't think that's the most perfect movie ever made, but I think it's a really exciting debut.
Yeah. And there are
And-
certain scenes that just stop you in your tracks.
Yes.
The bathtub scene. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought the jury selection scene is
Yes.
so funny,
I've
it's
thought
so
about
well
that.
observed,
Really?
So many times.
so
Yeah.
brilliantly
And I've
written.
had a lot of conversations with other friends about what a great portrayal of female friendship it is,
Yeah.
and not in the like girl power sort
Yeah.
of way. It's just their part of the film. I believe Ava Victor is in the new Tony Gilroy movie.
Yes,
So
they're on a path.
They're on a path.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. Like it's like watching that movie
Yeah.
not win anything, but Julia Roberts, who I believe in, always says to watch it. So it's like, all right, is the industry working well for this kind of film? I don't know.
To bring it back to what inspired, these
Yeah.
annual meetings, like that is what award shows can do, right? Is that, and I thought Rose Byrne, who won one of the Best Actress awards for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You.
Now I'll go back
Another
and finish that movie.
small.
It disturbed me so much. I
I-
had to
Tough one.
stop.
It's-
I had to stop.
one of my favorite movies of the year, also the most nauseous I've felt watching a movie all year. The
Yeah.
ending
Really?
is so wonderful, though. You really have to see it.
Okay. And I love her.
She's
she's
I want her to
wonderful.
have a variety show.
And so when she
be great.
She would be good.
She would be good.
really good.
But when she accepted the award for another small movie distributed by A24, she said, "This means so much to get
Yeah.
an award for such a small movie. It
Yeah.
shines a light on it that more people will see it."
Yeah.
And you finished the Golden Globes and watched Sorry Baby.
Yeah.
So
works.
that's important. It doesn't work on the scale
Yeah.
of, Gladiator winning Best Picture and also hundreds of $1 million at the box office. Those days are gone.
Yeah.
But the awards shows and people coming together to talk about movies and smaller movies can shine a light on something
Yeah.
that maybe you wouldn't otherwise check out. And that's
true.
positive.
That's also that's the paradox of this thing that we do. We have a lot of listeners of the show who are like, "Why do you spend so much time on these award shows?" The paradox is exciting. The fact that it is this self-dealing,
Yeah.
crooked, weird world of strange people who
Yeah.
are trying to make a buck
Yeah.
on art colliding with really
Good
small,
movies.
personal, good movies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and Ava Victor and Mary Bronstein, who made If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. There's no promise that those people are ever going to be able to make another movie again. So the
Yeah.
only way for them to get to make another movie again is not just to have Julia Roberts shout their name on stage, but to watch their movie and to tell your friend about how, or tell your audience on your
Yeah.
show that you
Watch
like
this
their
thing.
movie. So it's good and it's bad and it's light and it's dark,
Yeah.
and we're trying to figure out the middle.
And next year, Julia Roberts and George Clooney should host the Golden Globes.
Great idea.
Wouldn't that be great?
I just feel like they're too famous for that. You know, I just feel like they're this is not. They're like, what's the upside for George Clooney spending his entire night working for?
And not just the night. He's got to be prepping.
Yeah,
for a long
I guess
time.
so.
Okay. I get that. We're almost at an hour, but I want to close by looking forward a bit. The year has just begun. Mm-hmm. Y'all are the smartest film folks I know. 2 predictions each for the coming year of film. They can be Oscar predictions. They can be the year at large predictions.
Parameters.
They can be, will this freaking Odyssey movie be good predictions? Whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. You want to go
2
first?
predictions.
Will the Odyssey movie be good?
I'll say one business-oriented one
Yeah.
is I do think that the box office will get to $10 billion this year for the first time since pre-COVID. And
because of?
I think there's a really fine-grained combination of huge franchise films and a renewed, vigorous interest in large premium formats, film-going experiences.
This Division, IMAX, all that stuff.
Yes, all of those things.
Which movies are going to be the heavy hitters?
I mean, the Odyssey is the elephant in the room. There is a new Avengers movie. My other prediction was going to be...
I was going to say my prediction was going to be that's not going to hit. And that's over.
It needs to be over.
I think it is, and they're trying to reheat a souffle for the 14th time. But I don't.
I'm stealing that. Reheat a souffle.
I think that they will. It will make money.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it will. To go back to the great sinners, the trades will also be paying attention to the Avengers Doomsday box office, and I do not think it will meet their expectations.
Yeah. So 2 predictions. I need one more from each of you.
Okay.
Or was that your actual prediction?
No, that was an actual prediction. Cool. I was going to say that I don't think.
Yeah.
And that will mean that the superhero era, as we knew it, is officially
thank
done.
God.
I don't think any mergers will transpire in 2026.
Really?
I think that this will be an elongated effort.
Are you of the mind that Netflix did this whole thing just to log jam it?
I like that theory.
Okay.
I don't know that it's actually true, but I do think it's a potential positive outcome for Netflix to essentially like soft stymie one of its biggest competitors for somewhere between 12 and 18 months. And I think that there is a real downside to Warner Brothers having, manacles on for a year, because it's going to mean fewer risks being taken in terms of the kinds of films that they're pursuing. And that's a really negative outcome, because we've watched since Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi took over the film division there that they're willing to take risks. And those risks have paid off for the most part. And to me, what they did, and kind of what Mike DeLuca's ethos has been for 30 years as a screenwriter turned movie executive, is trust artists, take chances when they have big ideas. If you can backstop them with money and the right marketing campaigns, people will go to movies. And if that studio and the success that they had in 2025 is somehow hamstrung, I am a little bit more concerned about what's going to happen long term.
I agree.
That was a good one. I was only half listening because I was trying to think of my second prediction. I guess we've done mostly sweeping predictions. I'm going to do a specific follow-up one for you. I think Zendaya Oscar season incoming. I mean, just from a numbers. She's got the drama, which is the A24 romantic something with Robert Pattinson.
She's doing the rom-com?
It's not a rom-com.
Because I want her in a rom-com. Imagine. It'd be so great.
I think that things are going to go sideways in that. It's in the... It comes out in April, right? It's in the Materialist spot, just to set your expectations.
Which I actually like the Materialists.
We all had a nice time.
I'm glad it exists.
It was a good script. It was a good...
I thought it was well made, but a bad script. But I thought it was interesting.
Some of the one-liners, I'm like some of the lines I quoted for a few weeks.
Yeah, I could see that. I think structurally, I didn't understand it at all.
There were some decisions made, but the ideas of the script were good.
Yes.
I liked that she did it. I liked all the references. I had a good time. So we've got the drama. Is Zendaya in the new Spider-Man movie?
Oh, she sure is, yeah.
She's in a new Spider-Man movie, which is...
How many are there now?
Right, and that's... Superheroes are over, but Spider-Man is a teenager, so he's forever.
Yeah. This will be the 9th Spider-Man.
She's playing
Athena. It'll be the 4th in this series.
Athena in the Odyssey? And then Dune 3.
Oh, yeah.
So that's 4 movies sprinkled across
the new season of Euphoria.
Yes.
Where they're in graduate school.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they're 30. It feels like they've really jumped ahead there.
I do feel like, and I want the industry to just all touch and agree that our next Julia Roberts should be Zendaya. Let's just do it. It's time.
She's doing things Julia Roberts never did, but I don't know if she can do what Julia Roberts does. Julia Roberts has never done Dune Part 3. And I don't know that she should even try.
But imagine her walking into the gladiator ring, just smiling and laughing.
Yeah, but the things that she did try are also,
Mary Riley, did you like that?
I was trying to remember the title of Mary Riley. Even in the moment, we were like, Julia, what's going on here?
What if we
my
made
girl?
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but from the perspective of his maid? That's what Mary Riley is, just for the record.
Did not watch that.
There are a lot of things that don't work in there. Yeah, I don't know whether Zendaya wants to be Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
Julia Roberts was kind of the poster of her of her time.
It was a
we
narrower
didn't have the
lane.
internet, but we had her willing to
Zandaya's showing a wider range, I think, than Julia Roberts.
I think Zendaya is really funny, but in a very different way from Julia Roberts too.
Yeah.
She's a much more sly, almost sarcastic kind of performer, and Julia Roberts was always big and sincere, but very funny. But you never were trying to figure out what was going on in her mind.
No,
it was pretty
right
clear.
throughout her face.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Zendaya's year. I want her to have a big year.
She will definitely have a big year, but I think that the Oscar nom will come.
She does need her Marty Supreme. She needs the movie that she is the center of, that the whole movie is...
Well, it was Challengers, and we didn't take it... We took it very seriously, loved Challengers, but the world at large...
I guess that's true, and it made $100 million, and it was a big hit.
My thing with Challengers was that the trailers made you think it was her movie. It wasn't her movie, it was the boys' movie.
Yeah.
Which, fine.
Yeah,
but,
she's
it was
the object.
Right.
She's the object, yeah. All right, big year for Zendaya. All right, my prediction, I only really have one.
Okay.
And I kind of really felt like the nail was in the coffin when the Oscars announced their move to YouTube.
Yeah.
There'll be a mad gold rush to make good enough and really cheap scripted stuff for YouTube. I think the writers are going to... All of the writers who are losing their jobs in TV and film, the industry sees this. They're going to pay them even less to make written scripts for YouTube. And I think we're going to see YouTube try to do sitcoms in earnest.
Do you think feature-length films as well, or just television?
Shorter films. I don't think they want to be as long, but I think they're going to start with shows that are very short. I think that YouTube is going to understand that people's attention span for scripted stuff is much shorter, and I think we'll get shorter stuff. And I think that the writing is going to move to YouTube.
There's definitely something happening with the idea of the microsode, the 90-second episode of television that people are getting interested in. I think that's really smart what you're saying, and I do think that YouTube is kind of centralizing all content in a way that is longer than 90 seconds. Yeah.
Y'all are as big on YouTube as you are on podcast platforms.
Yeah.
It's all becoming...
It's starting to even out. It's definitely starting to even out. And part of that is just because people want to watch people that they know. They want to connect with their parasocial friends. And Timothée Chalamet is as much a parasocial friend as Hailey Bieber, right? To bring it back to our conversation earlier. And that they're one and the same.
Yes.
It's not a name on a marquee anymore. It's a name in the title description of your favorite whatever streaming thing. And well, I'm genuinely curious to see how that impacts movies, if at all.
I think the classifications that we have, movies are over here and TV is this and YouTube is that, those lines will keep blurring.
I don't like that.
But that's what it is.
I know. Now they're different disciplines.
Now we have podcasts on Netflix.
Yeah.
We have short sitcoms on Instagram. It's all what I think we're moving towards is this singularity where everything just ends up in the scroll.
We just haven't figured out a better story delivery system to me than a 105-minute movie. I still think that is the
better
best.
delivery vehicle is a 90-minute movie.
Well, I'm with you.
I know some people feel that way.
I tried to get that hat and it's sold out.
What's that?
They're movies just you make movies shorter or 90 minutes or less. Yeah.
Yes. I
agree.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with 105.
Okay.
103. 103?
That's fine as long as it's under 120. Okay.
Under 120. Okay. Under 120. Hamlet was 2 hours and a few minutes.
I don't want to see another 135 runtime. You know?
No. I mean, I do want to see that too. I also think movies should be 4 hours. But I just mean for the common good.
I almost
The 103-minute movie is powerful.
I almost walked to the parking garage in the Brutalist intermission. I can't do
How
it
dare
no more.
you? My beloved Brutalist. We've forgotten about the Brutalist. We've just forgotten about it.
I haven't.
It's that piece of trash.
Oh my gosh. Jesus Christ.
All right, tell our listeners where to find you both.
You can find us on YouTube, on Spotify, on
Yes.
wherever you get your podcasts.
On Instagram,
On
at
Instagram.
the Big Pick Pod.
Yes, we're on social media platforms as well. The Big Picture. Just
Yes.
search for the Big
The
Picture.
big picture.
And you'll
And
find us.
for LA folks, y'all are frequently at Vidiots, I feel like.
We are, yes.
We
It's
live
our
nearby.
neighborhood. Yeah.
Don't
love
stalk
that.
us, but yeah, we are there. We're honestly at movie theaters 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
If you see us, say hi.
Yes,
Throwback
please do.
16, that's a big spot for us.
Yeah,
Say
yeah.
what up.
I'm a Draft House girly, so y'all should
Okay.
come there sometime.
We will.
Okay. All right. Thank y'all so much. Listeners, viewers, let me know what movies you loved or hated and tell me why you love Songs on Glue so much. Bye.